police officials told me that the 15-year-old has been identified as Deasia Green, and she was found shot to death in that alleyway 4 days after she was reported missing by her family. This is the third teen to be killed in Toledo since December 1st.
On January 9th, the body of missing 15-year-old Deasia Green was located in an alley in the 1300 block of Page Street in Toledo, Ohio, after she was reported missing by her family on January 5th. Roughly a week after she was located, the Toledo Police Department announced the arrest of a 15-year-old male, who, according to her family, Deasia knew. He is now being charged with murder and felonious assault. TPD said Deasia was a habitual runaway whose parents reported her missing earlier in the month after they realized there was something different about the teen being missing this time. Her parents gave a TPD search team information that they had received, which led detectives to the area where Deasia's body was found. Investigators confirmed on January 10th that Deasia is the daughter of an unsolved homicide victim from 2010, DeAndre Green, whose story was highlighted just last year on case files. The two cases are not related. The teen's attorney entered a denial to all the charges against the teen, who will remain locked up at the Juvenile Detention Center. According to the court, the juvenile prosecutor has filed paperwork to start the process to have the teen tried as an adult. The teen will appear back in court on January 25th. While TPD has made an arrest, officers have yet to release any further details regarding the circumstances surrounding Deasia's death.
The 15-year-old was arrested at his home on Friday. He's charged with 1 count of murder with a gun specification and 1 count of felonious assault with a gun specification.
We would acknowledge receipt of a copy of the complaints, tender denials to both of the charges in both complaints.
He's accused of shooting and killing Deasia Green in an alley on the 1300 block of Page Street. Police have not released a motive. The prosecutor will start the paperwork to certify the boy as an adult.
If we prove probable cause, we would then be required to put him through an amenability hearing to be sure that he is, in fact, no longer amenable to juvenile justice. The state would argue that at 15, he's clearly young, but this is a life that has been taken, and it requires more than just what juvenile justice can provide.
The teen's attorney and mother declining to comment to 13 ABC.
She ain't deserve to get killed.
Deasia's stepfather tells me Deasia knew the boy accused of pulling the trigger. Her parents say Deasia was a habitual runaway, but always came home. Her stepfather says they reached out to many people for help.
We've been in this court, juvenile court, over 50 times trying to get help for our daughter. Every time they turned us back around with her. Come and pick her up, come and pick her up. And I'm just like, how can you pick a kid up with felonies?
He has a message for parents.
This is a time you got to start listening to your kids and see where they're at all times, because you never know what's happening in this cruel world.
Police still want people to come forward with any information in this case.
As Deasia's family prepares for her funeral later this week, her stepdad says that he hopes that this suspect gets the maximum punishment so that no one replicates what happened to his little girl.
I'm so happy we got justice for my daughter, and I just, I just hope they make an example, set an example.
The 15-year-old suspect accused of killing Andre Ottman's stepdaughter is now in custody, but he hopes the teen stays locked up. It's a concern he holds after watching Deasia's own history of misbehavior and the juvenile court's light punishments in response.
We wanted help. We were seeking help. All they did was turn us back around. Then my daughter started catching felonies. All they did was turn her back around again.
Ottman says these slaps on the wrist were never enough to scare Deasia away from associating with the wrong people, and now he wishes the courts had been harder on her.
I wish she would have been in jail than this happening to her. We try to prevent that.
Now, seeing another teen facing a judge in the same building, Ottman doesn't want him to be given a warning. He wants the teen's sentence to serve as a message to others running around with guns.
I hope the Juvenile Justice Center try him as an adult, and he get his punishment, and rest of the kids to see this is not a game anymore.
As the murders of Deasia Green, Kamarion Wilder, and Keyshawn Pittman cast a dark cloud over the Glass City, youths are voicing their concerns and ideas in forums. Kamarion Wilder and Keyshawn Pittman were 2 teen boys who were kidnapped from the Toledo, Ohio area and later found deceased inside of a burning home. Judging from Facebook posts and mutual friends, it appeared as if all of the teens were either friends or familiar with one another, but definitely knew some of the same people. Groups congregated at St. George Orthodox Cathedral in West Toledo to share stories of gun violence against children and how to stop it.
Young people across our city are coming together to be heard. Toledo is hosting a series of listening sessions called Youth Be Heard. And today's event practically filled the LaGrange Library Community Room with a clear focus: safety.
I feel safe on my block.
The Youth Be Heard moderator asked a series of questions. If you agree, stand on the right side of the room. Disagree, stand on the left.
I said no because there's a lot of shooting. And the same thing when she asked if we feel safe in Toledo, I said no because there's a lot of shooting and there's too many people down here in jail.
And I said no because it was like a lot of people shooting and violence and stuff.
The conversation turned from their neighborhood to the entire city.
I think he was dead, and I found that shit one of the rounds.
Christopher Matthews, along with two others from Save Our Community, joined the kids with their activities.
Overall, the whole city, none of them felt safe. So that was shocking.
He says events like this are good because it's a chance to hear directly from the kids.
They were really concerned about how do they feel and what would they like. I think that's instrumental.
We asked Denilah Coffey and Malia Pfizer if they could, would they change Toledo, leave it, or just keep to themselves? Denilah was quick to answer.
Change the city and probably leave the city if I can.
And since the goal is to improve Toledo with the hopes of keeping families living here for generations, clearly they have their work cut out for them. But the good news is it started a conversation, and the kids enjoyed themselves.
I want them to do more programs like this.
We've shared their pictures with you for more than a week and a half now, and these two Toledo teens who were missing are now dead. 15-year-old Keyshawn Pittman and 16-year-old Kamarion Wilder. So far, 5 people have been arrested and linked to their kidnapping and or disappearance. And last night, police talked about the case after their bodies were found in a burned down vacant home. They are now confirmed to be Pittman and Wilder. One person is also charged with their murders. Amanda Fay breaks down the timeline of all of this.
15-year-old Keyshawn Pittman and 16-year-old Kamarion Wilder were last seen on Saturday, December 3rd. Our cameras were rolling as both families were out searching for them on December 7th.
4 days. It's been 4 days. This too long. Too long. So baby home.
Nothing. We don't know nothing. We just want my brother home. We want to know he okay. He's alive. He not scared, hurt. We just want to know he's okay. Just bring him and Sean home safe.
Our cameras were on again, rolling on Monday, December 5th in the early morning hours. We didn't know it then, but this house fire on Chase Street would be connected to the missing boys 10 days later. Then, the next week on December 13th, 3 people were brought in for police questioning. That is Carissa Eames, Crystal LaFour Jingling, and Corbin Gingrich. They were arrested on obstruction of justice charges in the case and released on bond. Then, thanks to the family talking to WTOL 11, we uncovered there was a connection to at least the Wilder family.
It's my brother's girlfriend's family. It's her grandma, her uncle, and her uncle's girlfriend.
Then to tragic news on December 15th. TPD held a news conference saying 2 bodies were found in the rubble of the house that was burned down on Chase Street. At the time, they did not say the bodies were that of the boys, but they did notify the boys' families. They did confirm the fire was connected to the boys' disappearance.
We're trying to track down every lead we have through every bit of information that we collect ourselves. And, again, we'll take any information we can from the community. If you're a witness or if you know something, call us. I mean, this is tragic.
Also in that news conference, we were told that 2 more people were arrested in this case. 24-year-old Cruz Garcia charged with 2 counts of kidnapping. We've learned those charges have now been upgraded to 2 counts of murder. And 29-year-old Diamond Rivera is facing 1 count of obstruction of justice. Then Toledo Fire and Rescue Chief Allison Armstrong holds a news conference on Friday to address the vacant house fire with the bodies found inside.
Terribly sad. I mean, to know that 2 people are deceased now and families are mourning and hurting, and that's terrible. So I'm terribly sad for the families, and it's just an unfortunate situation.
Continuing coverage tonight following the kidnapping and deaths of 2 Toledo teens. Tonight, family and friends of Keyshawn Pittman and Kamarion Wilder came together to remember the boys. They'd been missing for nearly 2 weeks. Their families urged anyone with information to help bring them home safely. But police say the teens were killed by Cruz Garcia. He was charged today with 2 counts of kidnapping and murder after the coroner positively identified the boys' bodies as those found in the burned-out North Toledo house. Tonight, Garcia sits behind bars awaiting his next court appearance. And our Tatiana Cash joins us live after attending that emotional candlelight vigil for the teen victims. Tatiana?
Melissa, that's right. It was definitely emotional. A very large presence there at the vigil, which was held at where the 2 boys' bodies were found. And what we found amazing is the fact that as it continued to grow colder, darker, snow even falling, people just kept coming out.
Chase Street is packed, the sidewalks and the street. Attendees holding candles, pictures, even one another close, while remembering Kamarion Wilder and Keyshawn Pittman. Wilder's sister, Malia Nino, says this vigil comes at an important time.
Closure for not knowing for so long and going 2 weeks with not knowing anything. I feel like, no, it doesn't make it any better, but it feels better to know that they're not just out here or suffering.
Attendees keep coming, bringing balloons or a smile or warm embrace. Anything to dull the sadness. Nino says those who knew Wilder know the world is missing a great kid.
He was a good person. He was very outgoing. He light up any room he's ever been in. Like, I don't know, he was the glue to my family. We'll miss him. That's it.
Regardless of the cold and the snow, loved ones come to pay their respects and stay. They say it's about being here, being present for one another right now. Because the ugly truth is, these boys died too soon.
They were kids, and no matter what the situation was, I know they ain't deserve that.